Ga, a Michelin 2-star modern Indian restaurant in Bangkok, presents a menu combining flavors of India and Thailand. The chef behind Ga, Garima Arora, had worked at renowned establishments like Noma and Gaggan Anand's restaurant, and she took those experiences into Ga, such as fermentation and extracting umami essence from various indigenous Thai ingredients. Ga is truly at the forefront of modern Indian cuisine, and I'm here to experience it in full. Today we have an absolutely beautiful day in Bangkok, Thailand, and to pair with this beautiful day, I am eating at a special restaurant. In fact, I've been to this restaurant once before they even have any star. Later that year, it gets nominated to Michelin 1-star, and this year it's been promoted to Michelin 2-star. And for tonight, we have a tasting menu of 11 courses. For the longtime viewers of my channel, you know that I'm no stranger to Indian food. I have my fair share of experience of Indian food, and I even cook some myself. I roast my own masalas, for example, but I have yet to have a Michelin 2-star Indian food. I had Michelin 1-star Indian food in New York City before. It's called Junoon. It no longer has a star, whatever, but this one gets promoted to 2-star this year, modern Indian cooking. So first course, we have chaat. Well, this one doesn't look like any chaat I've had in the past. Chaat is basically, some people say it's carb salad. I know that Indian will disagree, but it's hard to describe, right? It's really like a carb base, and you have like different toppings, yogurt, cilantro, tamarinds, chickpeas, onions, and stuff like that. But as the chef told me, she thinks chaat is basically a combination of different flavors, flavor explosion. And this one is made with pomegranates. And well, let's try it. All right, oh, I can see there are many different components. These yellowish thing, I don't know if that's like turmeric or amchur, dry mango or something maybe. Some maybe yogurt, yeah, that's definitely yogurt. First bite at Ga, now Michelin 2 stars. Oh my God, that is amazing. That is very much chaat. It doesn't look like a chaat, but once you have the bite, the flavor you perceive is immediately chaat. The flavor is so complex. Like I said, chaat is an explosion of flavors. You have like really a little bit of everything. You have sweet, you have sour, tangy, a bit salty, and you have a bit fruity. I definitely taste the classic masala flavor, however, not as strong. There's a bit like corianders. The pomegranate seed provides like a very nice fruity, tangy flavor to it. There are even some seeds that pops to give you some crunch. And this green thing, I don't know what leaf is it, but it does provide like more nuanced texture. And the yogurt just binding all together. A bit smokiness, very interesting chaat.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I like the vessel. Second course, we have a trio of snacks presented in this beautiful porcelain by a famous artist from New Delhi. And from the left, we have this maitake mushroom and caviar on a buckwheat cracker. And this one is like a uni on a toast, and this is a fermented cake with some chutney on top. That is some refined flavors. Oh, there's so many things going on, but it's in such a balanced blend. You have a bit of a umami and earthiness from the mushroom, a bit of sweetness, and also a bit like umami from the caviar, but not very strong. And there is almost like a dairy sweetness from the buckwheat crepe. I don't know how is this done, but the caviar for some reason doesn't really have any of the salty umami pop. It's more just providing an ever subtle briny flavor, like oceany, minerally flavor that accompanies the sweet umami thing from the mushroom. So it doesn't like stand out in particular, but it's like really well balanced. It's like all in one. Okay, then we have this uni, some cucumber. Umami, refreshing, a bit spicy. You have a nice crunch from the cucumber. The bread is a little brittle and dissipates. Really nice flavor. Okay, this one, fermented cake with some chutney on top. Also really nice. You have a bit like fermented sweetness from the cake, maybe rice cake or lentil cake. And the chutney just provides a bit ever so slightly acidity and umami. I think all the dishes here, like so far, their flavor has been somewhat restrained. It's not like authentic Indian food where you have like masala, chutney, all that stuff like just pack a punch in your face. This one isn't that strong, but it still preserves all the essence, all the elements of Indian dining. Like all the flavors are there. They have been tuned down, but it's not just like you tune down the volume that's being tuned down. It's been like restructured and balanced that such that it is not as strong, but it presents itself wholeheartedly. It's like really good, stand out on its own. Next one, we have this tuna. There's some tuna, some, I don't know, like chutneys and things. And we have 2 pieces of this cracker thing. I'm gonna mix this, then put it on a cracker and eat it like a taco. Interesting mixture. Oh, that's why it's called DIY bhel. That's the name of this dish. I thought bhel was puff rice. Maybe it's the same ingredients, just in a different format. A bit sweet, a bit sour, a bit smoky, a bit masala flavor. Pretty classic Indian. You have a bit like chutney, some mint, maybe a little bit tamarind. Tuna is very soft, almost creamy, fatty. Another one. A bit smoky, citrusy, tangy. I don't know if there's amchur in it, dry mango powder. It does give me a bit of that feel. Next one, spherical paratha with cauliflower stuff in it and house-made butter. I never had a spherical paratha before. Very nice buttery scent. It's very important you smell your food because that's going to enhance the experience. Very nice. Some very mild spice, a bit cauliflower chunks in it. Also a bit like, I don't know, like cilantro or some kind of green that provides like a bit refreshing note to it. Time for the fresh house-made butter. This butter is whitish. Interesting. Most of the house butter I saw before were kind of yellowish. Creamy and smooth and a bit tangy. That tanginess is also very Indian. Like the sourness that you have in yogurt, it's kind of like that, but in butter form. It is pretty good. I can just eat this butter on its own. I mean, I ran out of paratha, but there is some butter left. I'm gonna eat them. This is pure pleasure from eating pure butter. This one is not too heavy at all. It is actually kind of light, a bit sour, and has a bit ginger in it. So it provides a bit spiciness, gingery flavor in it. Quite good. Okay, now moving on, we have this summer curry. So first we have this like shaved ice type of thing, and at the bottom it has a long pepper sauce. Like long peppercorn is called pipari. In Chinese it's called bi bo. It's widely used in Indian cuisine in like kebab, but not so much in Chinese cuisine anymore. It was used abundantly in the past, especially it has some like medicinal properties, so people like to use it a lot. But in modern Chinese cuisine, not so much. But I like to use it because it has like a little bit like sweet, fruity, earthy, complex, almost hawthorn flavor. I love that. And this is made with that and some crispy okra at the top. Interesting. Oh, there's some crab meat as well. Oh, that papali flavor is immediately present. The flavor is exactly like what I described. A bit like fruity, earthy, sweet, complex, and almost like hawthorn. The crab meat is very tender and fresh and sweet, and you have the crispy okra, very nice textural contrast, and also a bit like, I don't know if that's like basil or mint oil, that provides a bit more herbal note. This is such a delicate, refreshing sweetness. I love this dish. This is definitely one of a kind curry I have ever had. There are some like different components, a bit like a starchy, fruity, bouncy type of thing there. Also, this is a really good quality pipali, the long pepper, because I can taste a bit spiciness and even a bit numbiness, similar to the Sichuan peppercorn, but this one not as numbing, but you still get a little bit of that. Oh, I know, this is amazing. Moving on, we have this one, crayfish, this kata mita rice, sweet sour rice, and on top of crayfish, we have this chutney made with betel leaves, and on the side we have 2 pieces of betel leaves. I'm gonna grab this and eat it. And by the way, crayfish, like originally from America, right? For example, in New Orleans, they really like to eat this and they call it crawfish. Crawfish, not crayfish. But I guess here they call it crayfish. Smoky, meaty, savory. The crayfish is tender, and especially has a very subtle sweetness and of its own delicate flavor profile. Moving on, next dish, we have this kebab with a smoked tofu puree, but this one is made with a different masala. It is garam masala, like the typical Indian garam masala, but Thai version. What I mean by that is that this version of garam masala has the infusion of Thai ingredients, in this case, mace, coriander, and a spice called makwan. I have never heard of that before, but it's said to have some numbing properties similar to papadi and Sichuan peppercorn, but in a different way. There is also this rice, it's called surin, and this one is salted with ghee, pomelo, and there's some like shaving of fruit. But first, let's get to the kebab. It's very nicely spiced and seasoned. I can see the spice coated all around it. Who says you can't pair steak with spices? I mean, usually the best cut, right? The best ingredients need simple cooking. Like the best steak, you don't need anything else, maybe some black peppercorn, that's it. But, well, in fact, you could mix it with spices, but at the same time, retain the quality of it. So this spice, first, it's not very strong, in the sense that it's not very intense, but this one still has full flavors. Not like the typical garam masala version, but this one has a more like citric, sour, tangy hint to it, a bit numbing. It has like a very spicy, smoky, fruity scent in it, which is quite good. And this is just on the surface, right, on the crust. So inside you still have the full flavor aroma from the fat. That is amazing. Really complex spice, smoky, fruity, meaty. I love it. The beef is so tender, almost melt in your mouth. Really nice aroma from the fat. A slightly crispy crust with a nice seasoning from the spice. Let's try the smoked tofu puree. Wow. Oh, even the puree is amazing. It's very thick and creamy. Has a hint of smoky flavor. Very dense. This is an amazing dish. Let's try the rice. The surin rice, sauteed with ghee, pomelo, and this like fruit shaving type of thing. Rice is good. It's not too special, too mind-blowing, but it's good. It's hearty. You have the slight buttery aroma from the ghee, a bit fruity pop from the pomelo. The pomelo isn't particularly strong, which actually I kind of like, because pomelo tend to have this like really strong, like a tangy, a little bitter flavor that I'm not a huge fan of. This one is not as strong, which is great. Mixed with the rice, the heartiness of it. As a bowl of rice, I have no complaint.
Next dish, a big presentation, durian marrow. The durian was cut in the shape of bone marrow and treated like any other meat. The durian was topped with red chili powder and amchur, aka dry mango powder, and finished off in a tandoor to give out smoky flavor. On the table side, the durian was further topped with a chickpea and yogurt-based sauce from the northern part of India. The dish was accompanied by flatbreads also made in the tandoor and 4 condiments: mint and coriander chutney with bhandi, pickled tomato, pickled ginger, and pickled onion. I also had a side dish of puree made with mustard and roselle called sag and topped with mixed greens. To eat this, I took the bread and spread the durian like butter, then further topped it with condiments.
That stinky durian flavor is there. It's actually very creamy, and you have all this flavor amalgamation. There's a bit like stinkiness from the durian, you have a bit spiciness, a bit picklesome, a little sweet like dairy aroma, all fused together. That's quite nice. Kind of meaty and creamy, but more creamy than meaty. Let me also try the sauce. A bit buttery, a bit smoky, and also a bit of the amchur, a bit acidic, a bit gingery. Then goes with this roselle sag. Roselle is basically a flowering plant from the hibiscus family.
Sag is green mixture, the leaves. Really crunchy, slightly salty and savory. Also a bit umami, almost like a little bit seaweed for the people who haven't had sag before. It's basically a bunch of vegetables cooked down to like a puree and seasoned with a little bit of spice in the Indian context. Really herbal, almost like a bit like medicinal herb type of flavor, but very weak. Let's do a durian. I'm already getting a feel that this is gonna be a truckload of flavors right there. Then we have the condiments. Chutney with bondi. Bondi is this little chickpea batter ball thing. I had one of the dessert in Dubai that's made with bondi and yogurt, and that one's like one of my favorite dessert to date. It's like amazing. A truckload of flavors. Fresh, a bit sweet, a bit tangy, umami, a bit buttery sim. A bit like refreshing herbal notes, a bit savory. But overall, the profile is a bit more like herbal refreshing. Also a bit like funky, stinky, spicy. It's just very interesting. Also very substantial. I taste a bit of cumin in this flatbread thing as well. This is vegetarian, right? I think this is one of the best vegetarian dish I have. Very nice like flavors and textures and everything. I'm gonna top it up maximum. Oh, yes. But I had to say, once I have so many things on my hand, it becomes kind of finicky to add all the ingredients, but I guess it's worth it. Man, that is just so good. One of my top vegetarian dish, period. Now it's dessert time. We have this wow mahua flour ice cream, and this is mahua flour. I have never had this ingredient before. It's really like meaty and smoky, and even has a bit like funky, almost like fermented flavor in it. This reminded me of a spice, or rather tuber, root vegetable from a medicinal herb in Chinese cooking. It's called rou congrong. The Latin name is Cistanche di Sericora. Kind of smells like that, but not as strong. Okay, then here we have this flour ice cream with a piece of silver foil here. A little sweet, a little nutty, a little earthy, almost tastes like tea. I do taste like a hint of that flavor, but very subdued. When you smell that, it's much stronger. Nevertheless, very interesting. Moving on to our next dessert, we have this thing called paturi, wrapped in a banana leaf. And there are 3 condiments: ghee, clarified butter, another is sugar spice, and this is sea salt. I'm just gonna add a little bit this thing on top. This sugar spice has a bit of like masala-y flavor, cumin, coriander, some butter. Oh, it's almost like a dumpling actually. Skin wrapped with some fillings, then further wrapped with the banana leaf. Maybe like coconut inside, a bit sweet, a bit coconutty. I don't know if there is like animal product, maybe shrimp paste, that type of thing, maybe not, but it has a bit umami in it. Some more of this sugary spice, salt again. And I just noticed that this copper vessel, if you hit it with a spoon, this is quite good. A bit sweet, a bit coconutty, a bit spicy from the spice. Lastly, to finish this meal, we have this plate of mithal, small sweets, basically Indian petit food. We have 3 kinds here. This is chickpea batter with milk chocolate. This is white chocolate with lychee crisp. And this is again chickpea with dark chocolate. And we have a chai. All right, first let's try this. Very crunchy, a little nutty caramel flavor, a bit of chocolate, white chocolate. Oh, it has a liquid center, explosion in your mouth. Really sweet, a bit lychee, and also a bit like wine and dark chocolate. Very creamy with dust that dissolves in your mouth. Lastly, we have the chai. Some spice, a bit meaty and smoky, star anise. Oh, real. Oh, nice. Nutmeg, maybe a little mace, a slightly spiced chai, chilled. A nice way to end this meal. So that pretty much wraps up the meal. The food is amazing. The experience is awesome. This restaurant has progressed so much. Now, like, the food is complete on another level. And this meal, again, expanded my horizon about modern Indian cuisine. I am absolutely loving it. Very creative, good selections of ingredients, good techniques. I have no complaints. I think the Michelin 2-star title for this restaurant is well deserved. Remember to like and share and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.